Well, hello, kiddos. Let's look again to the Bible, and we're going to be in chapter 18 this time. 18 of Genesis, Genesis 18. And we're going to see here that God continues to repeat himself, repeat the promises to Abram, even though he hasn't fulfilled the promise yet. He hasn't given Abram what he promised that he would, not yet. Okay, back in chapter 12, he told Abram at the first, he said, I'm going to make you a great nation. And then years had gone by, and in chapter 15 is when he came to him again, and then he went out to count the stars. Okay, and then many years later was one of our last studies where God again came to Abram and again told him that he was going to have a child. Abram was 99 years old, and this is where God changed his name from Abram to Abraham. And so now, even later, sometime later, is when this story takes place today. And it goes like this. So it says, the Lord appeared to him, that's Abraham, by these trees that are called terebinth trees, a special kind of tree. And right as Abraham was sitting in his tent at the door at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day, so must have been like lunchtime, a little after lunchtime, Abram is sitting there, and it says he lifts up his eyes and looks, and there are three men standing in front of him. Now, these are special men. They looked like normal men, perhaps, but they weren't. It says, and when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and he bowed himself down to the ground. Why would he do that? Well, it could have been to show them respect, but most likely he realized something was very special about these men. He said, my Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not go by, stay with me a little bit, and come in and visit me. Please let a little water be brought and wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. So Abram tells them to stop, and he's going to bring them some water so they can wash their feet that are dusty because they wore sandals in that hot, dusty desert land. And just relax under this tree, he said. And then in verse 5, he said, and I will bring you a piece of bread, some bread for you to eat, that you can refresh your heart so that you can just have a relaxing snack, a good meal. You've been traveling, and this will be good for you. And then after that, he says, after that you may pass by. You can go on just the way you came. And they said, okay, that's fine. Do as you have said. Okay, so Abram has these visitors, these three visitors, and he treats them really special. So Abram runs back into the tent to Sarah. Now, these aren't little pup tents, where like the kind of tent that you might have if you go with your mom and dad to the side of the lake, where you have a little tent to sleep in. These were big tents. These were their houses, okay? So the tent was big enough. They would sleep in there. They might cook in there if they needed, and it would relax in there. So these were pretty big tents. So he runs back in there, and he says to Sarah, hurry, quickly, make 3 measures of fine meal. In other words, get a good meal ready for 3 people. Knead it and make it into cake. Some kind of, I don't know, kind of pancakes maybe, or big biscuits, something like that. We've got visitors. We've got 3 men out there. Please go ahead and make a quick meal for the 3 of them. And then Abram ran to the herd. Remember, they had cattle of various sorts, and he took a tender and good calf just when it was just right for the best kind of eating, and he gave it to a young man, and he hastened to prepare it, it says. So he gave it to this young man. He said, get this thing ready. We're butcher it because we're gonna eat it. And you kiddos know what it is to butcher a cow, right? I was there a few months ago and we butchered that big bull, and so you know all about that. So that is what Abraham is up to in this lesson. We're going to stop here because there's not enough time to finish the story, so we'll wait until next time. So Abraham has some very special visitors, and he treats them very well, and he's about ready to give them it might have looked like a snack at first, but in the end it's a pretty good meal because it's going to have some good steak, some fresh steak in there, okay? So we'll see what happens next time. I'll give you a son, and I will make you a huge family. Okay? So We got to repeat it. Why? Because the Bible repeats it. And it's good to repeat things. It's good to hear things over and over again, the truth, because we need to. Okay? Okie dokie. Goodbye.